Hey, what's up, guys? NOOCH Neighborhood Picks. Like and subscribe. Here we go. Week 4. We got our Pick'em show. And I just want to tell you guys, I am ice cold. I have not made a bet all week because I got responsible gaming set up on my FanDuel. And I don't want to be shut out like I was last Sunday when I had $13 and nothing to do. So here we go. We got a good slate of games. What I'm going to do is I like to highlight the games that I'm looking at, the ones that are most interesting or that I want to talk about. I'll talk a little bit more about them, and then I'll go down the line with the other ones. So with the spreads, FanDuel, and make sure you join us Sunday mornings. All the fellas, we get together in the live stream from 11 to 1. We go over the same game parlays. We look at everything that we want to bet that day. We go over fantasy football start sits, and it's pretty much a good time for the whole time that we're in there. So here we go. Week 4, the first game in London. So we have Atlanta +3 at Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville's not really home, so we have to talk about that first. The game's in London, and I'm thinking, first of all, I'm really confused as to why Jacksonville is on a London road trip, because London's really far, and they're playing again there next week. So I was really surprised when I heard that. I found out about the Zay Jones injury, and they said he was going to play the second London game. So I don't know. Jacksonville looked so bad last week. I'm at a pause with them. I'm rooting for them because I have Trevor Lawrence on my fantasy team and Evan Ingram, but they do lead the league in drops. Calvin Ridley also leads the league individually in drops. Jacksonville hasn't got it together yet. They were terrible last year in September and October too, and then they made that tremendous run to get in. So right now, I see a lot of running in that game with Algier and Bijan and even ATN. So I'm rooting for Jacksonville, but to lay the 3, I don't like that game at all. So Atlanta, Jacksonville, I'll be rooting for Jacksonville, but I don't like the game. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't give a definite pick if I don't like it. I'm not trying to give winners and act like I'm the man like that. I'm just talking about the games. I'm giving you my picks. Miami, here's a game that I like. Miami, Buffalo. Here's what I'm looking at. Logic and common sense. The things that we're seeing from Miami, I've never seen them before in my life. I've been watching football since the mid-'80s with my dad as a little kid. It's futuristic. They got everyone on their team runs a 4-2. I've never seen that. Both receivers, Waddle and Hill, both running backs. Mostert was an NCAA sprint champion track. A chain, 4.27, like Dion, Bo, Jackson type 40 speed. Ridiculous speed, pre-snap motion. I feel like Miami, how could they win? Well, I just told you a lot of ways. Tua is tremendous precision. He sees the field better than anybody. If Tua doesn't get hurt, he might be the MVP with the numbers Miami's going to put up with McDaniels, that little mad scientist system he's got with the offense. It's amazing. I thought the greatest show on turf was tremendous when I was about 20 years old. This is a step up from that. This is amazing. So Miami, how will they lose in my eyes? If they stub their toe 100 times in those 3 hours. From 1 to 4, if they shoot themselves in the foot, penalty, everything's got to go wrong. Buffalo, it's kind of more par for the course for them to make a couple turnovers. I think if they turn the ball over a couple times against Miami and Miami's hitting, it could be a long day for Buffalo. So they're a +126 on the money line. They're +3. If you feel comfortable taking that 3, even if, I can't find any reasons to bet Buffalo. I was wrong on them last week, though. So I'm a little bit of a Buffalo hater because I don't like all the turnovers and the sloppy play. But Miami's so sharp. Give me the clean, high-speed Ferrari team. So I'll go with McDaniels and Miami and everything they're doing to win that game, and that's probably my pick of the week, to be honest with you. So moving on, here's a game that scares me. Pittsburgh Steelers are 3 points at Houston. Why? The Steelers barely got out of the Cleveland game with a win. Their defense put up 100 points, the Steelers, that day. But they barely got out of Cleveland. Now, Cleveland's got a good defense too, but Houston just torched Jacksonville. They got the hottest receivers and young quarterback and receivers. C.J. Stroud seems to be the guy. Out of the rookie quarterbacks, like nobody's saying it yet, C.J. Stroud seems to be the guy. His receivers are putting up monster numbers. Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Tank Dell is putting up 170 yards in a game. He's 5'10", a buck 60. That was my high school weight when I got on the field against Bergen Catholic. That's amazing. 5'10", 160. He's tearing it up in the NFL. So I'm afraid of Houston right now. They just blew out Jacksonville, 37-17. And I'm going to lay 3 on the road with Pittsburgh? No. I've been around too long to do that. So I'm going to pass on that. I don't like the game. I'm not going to bet it. But I'm not laying 3 with the Steelers on the road. That's going to be a tough game. This is where when you can't see it well, that means don't jump in. So that's what I'm doing there. Rams, Colts. This is a fell off the ugly tree game. The Colts have a nice defense. Anthony Richardson's back, but they just had Gardner Minshew, so we don't know how they're going to look. It's a different chemistry already. And the Rams, Stafford stinks already. He's old. He's over the hill. Cup is still not there. Who knows? Who knows? That's fantasy implications game. As far as I want to see it, no. Minnesota at Carolina. Minnesota scores points. They're 0-3. They're a 4.5-point favorite at Carolina. Now, Carolina scored points last week against the Seahawks, but the Seahawks scored like 37-40, and Carolina lost the game. So now the Red Rocket played good last week, but he's out. They're going back with the rookie. They want to get him reps and stuff. So this game's got Minnesota winning all over it. I can't see Minnesota going to 0-4 again. If they don't get a win this day against Carolina, hey, Thielen back at the Vikings. That's the only thing I see. But if Minnesota can't get a win, it's trade Cousins. This is a Jets fan's dream. This is the Jet Bowl. If Minnesota ever goes to 0-4 against Carolina, you're going to remember this. I hope they do so we can remember. If Minnesota loses, you're going to hear a lot of Kirk Cousins to the Jets talk. 100%. Now, in another game where the chemistry's all fogged up, New Orleans. Carr's not playing. Jameis Winston's playing. They're a 3.5-point favorite over the Bucs. Think, who did the Bucs upset week 1? Nice money line underdog. 5.5-point underdog. Plus 180. The Bucs upset the Vikings. Because that's one of them that I did see coming. I was like, oh, Baker. Mike Evans is fresh and healthy. Baker's still there. Mike Evans still looks fresh and healthy. The Todd Bowles always has a defense. And Jameis's first game, I'd probably take a shot on the Bucs, the slight money line. I'll definitely take a shot on them plus the 3.5. So that's what I like there. Washington, Philly. I keep trying to be the contrarian to pick when Washington's going to play good and when Philly's going to slip up. So I'm just going to skip that. Jalen Hurts, 20-1 in his last 21 starts. I'm not going to be the guy that says they're going to slip. We're going to move on. Washington, Philly, tough divisional game. I'm not going to be betting Philadelphia and just throwing them in my money line. I'm going to stay away because those divisional games scare me. But, you know, you got to tip your hat to the success, what you see. Keep going. The somebody's got to win ball. Denver, Chicago. This has big implications for me. Russ is not cooking. Sean Payton's pissed. But I got Fields. A lot of us have Fields. Guys, here's another. This is a good measuring stick week. If Fields can't put up a decent day against Denver this week, major panic button. We got to be careful, guys. Somebody's got to win ball. I'll go with the Bears just because I need it so bad. I need to see something from Fields. And I'm sure a lot of us feel that way. I'm sure a lot of us feels that way. I love the corny jokes. Okay, now here's another one that's got me scared. It's got me scared. So scared. I got Lamar and Trevor as my quarterbacks in fantasy. I just told you what's going on with Trevor. You know. Now I got Lamar. Happy at the surface, right? I got Lamar at Cleveland. And the more I looked, the Browns defense, for those of you who don't know, are off to a historic start. The Browns defense is ferocious. Flash Garrett, I'm starting to get afraid to start Lamar. They got a lot of guys out. Odell Beckham is still out. Him and his purple hair out. Mark Andrews has been hobbled in the beginning of the year. He's just starting. They say he's feeling better. They kept that injury under wraps. I didn't know he was feeling bad in the first place really that much. I'm starting to get scared. So as far as the game, that's why the spread is so low, -1.5. I'm going to go with Lamar to pull it out again in an ugly game. This is my ugly game of the week. 17-12 Ravens. Remember that score. 17-12 Ravens. But ugly game, and man, I would like to know if anybody's still on this. That means you're a dedicated person. If you're still watching right now, let me know in the comments, who would you start? Trevor Lawrence or Lamar Jackson? I was thinking Lamar Jackson from Monday to right now. But I heard all this shit about Cleveland's defense and Flash Garrett chasing Lamar, and I'm starting to get scared, and I'm thinking about starting Trevor. But then again, Lamar's going to get you running. Even if it's an ugly game, he can ugly me to 20 faster than Trevor could. If shit goes ugly with Trevor, they're not going to get ugly anything but an ugly loss. 0-3. How you doing? Anyway, keep going. Ooh, lost my spot. Okay, so I like the Ravens. Now, Bengals, Tennessee. I don't know about Joey B's calf. DeAndre Hopkins, panic button. Mediocre, mediocre, mediocre. Those were his 3 games. Man, that's a stay away from that game. That's an ugly game. I don't like it. I have no idea what's going to happen. Henry hasn't done anything yet. Nobody in that game has really done anything. Think about it. Henry, done nothing. Chase, Higgins, T. Higgins, nah. Burrows, just trying to survive. Nobody, Hopkins, that's the game where somebody's got to have some stats. Can somebody who hasn't put up stats all season please do something? Thank you. Okay, next. I don't like that game. I'm not picking it. I don't bullshit, guys. Raiders, Chargers. Okay, all right. The Chargers are very fugazi, but the Raiders, I don't think Jimmy G's playing. If they don't play, you know what? The Chargers should get that game. Herbert. We might see a little Quentin Johnson this week, but I don't love that game. I'm really liking the over in that game. Probably see a over that 49.5. New England, Dallas. Everybody keeps highlighting it. Oh, New England, Dallas. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Let's not, Molly. Let's not. I'm not excited about Dallas and New England at all. Mac Jones and the ugly Patriot offense against Dak prancing his leg. Oh, it's me, Dak. Hike it, hike it. No, that doesn't. No, the Cowboys. I don't like them. I'm a Giant fan. New England's plays ugly. Yeah, it's a nice game. Miami's 6.5 point. Dallas is 6.5 point favorite over New England at home. You know, Dallas has a lot of weapons and a ferocious defense. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Dallas is going to cover because the Patriots might stink a little worse than we think. So let's see if Dallas can stay par for the course and beat a team that's less talented than them at home. I'll go with the Cowboys. Now, Arizona, they're supposed to be so sneaky good. They're at San Francisco this week. The party's over. They played good against the Giants and they beat Dallas. But Dallas always lets everyone down their whole life. It's like Dallas let them down Cowboys. They got to make a middle now. It's 3 names. So I don't know about Arizona. I'm not laying 14 with San Fran, so I'm staying away from that game. Moving on. Now we get to the 2 night games. The primetime games are the Chiefs Sunday night. Chiefs at Jets. Oh, look at this. You know what? I'm not a fan of this. I'm glad they did over the field. The opening game. Didn't the Giants play home, then they rolled the field over and the Jets were home and then Rodgers blew out his Achilles? Oh, okay. The Jets are home Sunday night against the Chiefs. They're 8.5 point underdog. I don't give a shit to predict this game. The Jets look terrible. So I like the Chiefs to win the game. I'm going to throw them in a money line Adam honor on everything in the day. You know, something Chiefs, something Chiefs. That's how I'm going to treat that game. And I don't want to know if the Jets are going to cover or not. They're getting 8.5. God bless them. I hope they win the game outright. But because, I'm rooting for them to do decent. Actually, I don't want them to win the game outright because of that bet. But I'm saying I hope they do well. I'm not hating on the Jets, but I don't know. But here's what I'm getting at. The Jets are home Sunday night. Why do the field all over again? I don't know. Why play 2 home games right away? Monday night, the Giants are home against Seattle. They're going to get right back on there. They're going to go again. The Giants are plus 1.5 against the Seahawks. The Giants played so bad for 2.5 games that they're a home dog against Seattle, Seattle's lost a home game already. Seattle lost to the Rams at home this year. They're up, down, but they're still favored against the Giants because the Giants have played 12 quarters this year, and 10 of them have been the worst in the history of the world. Terrible 4 quarters against Dallas. Terrible first 2 against Arizona. Came back 1 in the second half. Terrible 4 against the Niners. So I guess the odds makers are correct. How could you How could you possibly make a team that just did the things I stated a favorite? So that line is appropriately put, and I'm not picking it either because those are games you stay away from unless you like to lose money, like for sure. So I'm rooting for the Giants. I'm a Giant fan, and I'm hoping to see something that resembles a team. But and I would like to know, signing off, if the fields, why are they going, like, I know it's not grass, but they have to go on the field, do it again. Why the double home game? Like, oh, we're so high tech. More guys are blowing out their ACLs than I've ever seen before. When I was a kid, if a guy got a knee injury, it was a big thing. Now it's like, oh, ACL, all right, put him under. So I don't know. But yeah, listen, those are my picks for the week. The games that I like is the Atlanta-Jacksonville game, the Miami-Buffalo game, a few of those that I talked about before. But I'm really looking at that Miami-Buffalo game. I can't figure out a way that I'm going to not go with Miami on Sunday at 1 o'clock. That's the game of the week, plus their underdog. We put that with a little Canelo, sprinkle a little Canelo Alvarez tomorrow night. We got ourselves a parlay. I'll be live streaming the Canelo fight, scoring every round too tomorrow night. So I'll see you soon. NOOCH Neighborhood Picks. Like and subscribe.